Let's go to Egypt now. President Abdel Fattah Sisi earlier today addressed the nation. He covered several issues, including a recent controversial decision by Egypt to give Red Sea islands to Saudi Arabia. He's also assured the nation of a transparent investigation when it comes to the recent murder of an Italian student in Cairo. CCTV's Abdel Al-Marouki joins us now live from Cairo for more on that national address. Abdel, a number of foreign affairs issues being raised in that speech of the president. Let's start with the Red Sea islands. What did the president say, and why is it considered controversial to give them to Saudi Arabia?
Well, the president insisted that after doing a lot of research and going back to the country's institutions like the armed forces, the intelligence and the foreign ministry, he was confident that what they have from documents assures the Egyptian government that these two islands in fact belong to Saudi Arabia, and they were the jurisdiction of them were temporarily moved to Egypt back in 1950, right after the announcement of the State of Israel, and then followed by several occupations and expanding its territories in the region. It was given to Egypt in terms of to protect it, because back then the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia didn't have a strong army or even a significantly powered armed forces. Now, why it's controversial is mainly because since 1950, this has not been an issue in Egypt, and all the generations that came, maybe born even in the early 40s, were not quite aware of that situation. So it was controversial because most Egyptians never thought that these two islands belonged to Saudi Arabia, and it was a very new issue to hear about it for the first time just after the president declared that they have agreed with Saudi Arabia to redefine the borders between them in the Red Sea. So this was the first time they heard about it, and that's why it's more or less has become a quite controversial issue, because mainly also no one had solid proof that they actually belong to Saudi Arabia. But in today's statement he was quite confident, and he asked Egyptians to trust that he will protect the Egyptian land by all means, and that he would never let go of any part of Egypt, and at the same time he would not accept to maintain any land that does not belong to Egypt.
Well, of course, on another important diplomatic issue, we understand the president also spoke about the spat between Italy and Egypt over the death of an Italian student in Cairo. What more can you tell us about that?
Well, President Sisi was wanted to make Egyptians a little bit aware of the situation of Giulio Regeni. He stressed that the relations with Italy are very important to Egypt. Italy was one of the first countries that supported the June 30 protest and the move to oust former President Mohamed Morsi. And also Italy is considered a key player in the Libyan crisis, and to Egypt that's very important to maintain such good ties with Italy. So when he came today, he re-stressed Egypt's position that it wants by all means to cooperate with Italy. It wants to make the Italian side comfortable with whatever they need, and that Egypt is trying to fulfill these needs to the Italian government. But at the same time, he requested Egyptians to calm a little bit about this situation, not to rush with their own concepts or depend on social media as sources of news or information. He stressed that the investigations are still ongoing, that Egypt will not hide the perpetrators, whoever they are, but he urged Egyptians to wait for the investigations until they finish before rushing into any conclusions.
Right, well, thank you very much for that update. Abdel Al-Marouki live for us there in Cairo.